Hello and welcome to I.C.O, Machina Lutris. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but I'm going to pronounce it like that from now on. Um, this is a visual novel that I had planned to read for a while, and then it went on hiatus in order to do some rewrites, I think, and some other stuff. And then it re-released, and then it had some other little fixes. But yeah, so this is the first chapter. I think it's separated into chapters or something. But yeah, anyway, so if you have ever seen the movie Pacific Rim, then you might kind of go like, "Hey, this feels like Pacific Rim." So yeah, that should give you kind of an idea what this visual novel is sort of about, kind of, at least on the surface, because obviously, characters, character development, etc., etc. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I get from it. So yeah, um, don't really know much more about it than the main character is gonna drive a giant mech, and there's monsters, and yeah, so that's it. Anyway, so without further ado, let us begin I.C.O, Machina Lutris. Everyone's dead. The world was silent, with nothing but dusty winds billowing faintly. We barely had time to react. It picked us off one by one until only I remained. My muzzle was broken, my spine had twisted unnaturally, and droplets of blood dribbled from a splintering wound carved into the back of my head. I fought by the captain's side. She had decades of experience on me. She'd seen more combat than any of us rookies combined. Now her feral's carcass lay several dozen meters to my right, shredded with ribbons of red festooning from the cockpit. How was I still alive, mangled though I am? Was there any way out? Any way for me to live another day? There has to be a way to survive. There just has to be. Or was it just toying with me, letting me languish in the aftermath of the slaughter, drawing out the suffering until the bleeding takes me? As if they could comprehend the idea of such cruelty. No, it probably just assumed that I am dead and took off. Either way, did it really matter in the end? Results the same? I stared at the headset that was lying on the floor. Miraculously, it remained completely intact. Should I even bother? Should I even get my hopes up? It hurt even to move. What chances were there that I'd survive even if they rescued me? No, just let it end. Give it up and go peacefully. Oh, for fuck's sake. Forcing myself through splintering agony, I grabbed the headset and placed it over my ears. Dispatch, emergency, signal. I require help. Immediately. Even muttering those words burned, as if a match had been struck in my lungs. But the message was going through. A signal had been sent out. Any squadron in a 6-kilometer radius would have been able to pick up on that. Someone's gotta be there. They just have to be. Maybe they can save me? Moments passed and no answer. Come on, There has to be someone out there. Sending an emergency signal. I need help immediately. Another minute. Silence. I repeat, this is an emergency. Call from Garland Squadron. No answer. I repeat, but please. No answer. Anyone? Please. No answer. I'm begging you. No answer. Motherfucker! I hurled a piece of junk and it smashed into the wall. I screamed, louder than I ever thought was possible. Even when my voice gave out, I continued screaming and screaming until all that came out were sickly gasps. My throat was raw and my lungs hurt with every breath, yet it all paled compared to the hopelessness that scraped away in my guts. It turned and twisted like a corkscrew, winding my intestines into a knot. There's nothing that I could do. No matter how much I scream, no matter how much I pray, there's nothing that I can do to avoid the inevitable. This would be where I die. I leaned back, wheezing with eyes burning from the stinging of tears. How did it come to this? How? I began imagining the people that I'd leave behind, the lives that they'd lead without me. Memories of their voices, moments of intimacy, moments of conflict, the people that I loved and the people that I hated. Just this morning, I was bantering with my comrades like normal. Just this morning, I had made plans to see my parents in a few weeks. And they'd all carry on without me. What? Crackling noises bloomed from the headset. A voice. My heart leapt and I seized the headset. Hello? Hello? This is Taiga Squadron. Come in. My God, yes. A delighted howl took flight and a sensation of life coursed back into my body. I'm gonna live. Hello? Do you copy? We read you, soldier. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dispatch a rescue team immediately. Garland Squadron has been completely wiped out. Wiped out? There was unintelligible gibberish as the caller spoke with their crew. I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. Anxiety writhed like worms in my guts. I couldn't stay here any longer, not when that thing is still out there. Send us your coordinates. Understood. And your name? Name? My name is... I'm going to give this person the name of the first person who joined my channel as a member. You might be wondering why, but you'll see. My name is Isaiah. Isaiah Moneda. Isaiah, hold on a moment. I will check with my superior. I imagined finally returning home for once. It had been so long. Mom's cooking, Dad's laughter. If I get out of here, I'm going back to them immediately. What the fuck were they waiting for? Yes? What? He hesitated for a moment. Something was... wrong. No, nothing's wrong. I'm sorry. You're sorry? We're unable to dispatch units to your direction. Don't fuck with me here. What are you talking about? Our orders are to prioritize the safety of our cargo. He swallowed. The order is absolute. I can't even muster the words. It's gone. Right through my paws. Just abandoning me like this. To be torn apart by that monster. You piece of shit! My stammers turned into screams. My screams turned into violent insults, and my insults turned into pleas before the radio shut off. I couldn't die here. I refused to let that thing win. The mega colony hadn't done anything for a while now. Why hasn't it sensed me yet? It was still here. What was it waiting for? If I could get to someplace safer, maybe they'll reconsider the rescue. There's nothing to lose at this point. Rung diagnostics. Calibration and diagnostics. External temperature normal. Input latency 679 milliseconds. Power level 21.93%. Internal temperature critical overheat warning. Oh god. The internal temperature's off the charts. If I overexerted myself, I'd be leaving this world in a mushroom cloud. Close diagnostics window. Run calibrations. Prepare Feral for launch. Ever so often, a shadow danced in my field of vision that made my heart jolt with nerves. Some of them were scuttling about, peering from the shadows as if waiting for me to kick it. Small fry. Don't think about them. Just focus on the task at hand. I could only muster minor fixes to the Feral's control scheme. It should be enough to give me several clicks north. The Feral lurched as I trained my inputs. It took a full second to move a digit after input. Combat's out of the question. In that case, I could barely wield my blade. Doubt its disorientation properties were even working anyways. This was gonna be impossible, huh? It's futile. I knew it's futile. So why did I even try? It's time to get this scrap heap off the ground. Activate ventriloquist system. Weight, texture, gravity, proprioception. It all came flooding in as the V system labored to read me. I was in control now, haggard by battle, but still functional at least. I'm back. I'm ready. My vigor renewed amid the odds. I stepped forward with my spirit rekindled. Critical error. It was a daze. My body screamed in searing agony as fresh blood splattered the back of my seat. The ground had collapsed beneath me. Something attacked from below. Critical damage alert. Right leg unresponsive. Left forearm unresponsive. Internal pressure valve 2 and 5 destroyed. Ventriloquist system failure. Perception simulator unresponsive. Motion tracking perception reduced to 70%. Combat systems red. Total unit failure imminent. Thank you for your service, soldier. Respite and death. No. No, 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 no. The delirium abated, and in its place, a constricting terror took hold. My stomach was writhing with the worms. My heart beat so fast that I swore it might explode, but my mind was focused entirely on that thing that approached. Amid the plume of dust, it crept forward, cold and calculated. As it drew nearer, its image became clear, and whatever delusions of hope I might have had simply perished. No. No, get back! Stay away! My last thoughts. God, what will my last thoughts be? Home? My family? Those things that I wish I could tell them, but didn't? Loves I never confessed? Lies I never corrected? For some reason, all that I could think about was that time years ago, talking to the captain about what happens when you die. I don't know if she was pulling my tail or if she believed some bullshit science. But she said that your brain tries to comfort you in your last moments. When you're on the brink, it may feel like euphoria before it all goes dark. That thought, it was the only comfort that I had, the only thing that I could cling to. So please, just make it quick. Alright, I'll get you authenticated right away. First time here, Mr. Judah Bishop? Yes, can we hurry this up? Sorry to keep you waiting. The tram will be here in 15 minutes. Here's your card back, sir. Good luck out there today, soldier. Episode 1. Activate. Shit, I'm late. She better still be on the fucking line. I shut the booth's doors, and the cacophony of the station lowered to a faint murmur. My nose crinkled to a foul odor permeating the enclosed space. A carpet of abandoned fur lay scattered across the cold, iron floor. Eyes sore, mouth dry. It was an 300-hour wake-up call today, and the fatigue was murder. I turned to face the comm box's main screen and tapped the surface of its smudged screen. Please input the recipient's information, it said in a robotic voice garbled by static. The display shifted to a collage of numbers and forms. I scrolled through each of them, punched in whatever information it asked of me. There is one user, Marley Bishop, currently in the requested room. Connect with this user. I accepted. A moment passes before the silence turned to a faint static, and a warm voice emanated from beyond the wires. Judah? Hey, Mom. Can you hear me? Is the quality good? It works just fine. She sighed and rubbed her brow. It better be. I spent a whole month's pay on this personal calling station. Anyways, how are you? How are you holding up? Oh, you know. How's, work going for you? Jerry's been working my tail off. Had to deal with a busted generator the other day. 12 fucking hours dealing with that. Place still doesn't have running electricity, but hey, at least the fires are out. No kidding. Oh, and I thought that I should tell you that, there was a tiny breach yesterday. I shot up, nearly pressing my face against the screen surface. The fuck? Are you okay? Fuck's sake, Judah, calm down. I wouldn't be talking to you if I wasn't. It was a small lockdown. Some of the warding material got eaten, but they took care of it. She swallowed before speaking with a tremble in her voice. I'm fine. You can't just say that and not expect me to freak out. If Urbane's dealing with the breach, even a minor one, Judah, that's enough. No, The situation was dealt with. Drop it. Judah! I sat back down, with teeth clenched so tightly that I swore that they were cracking under the pressure. Sorry about that. I shouldn't have brought it up, she said with a look of deep shame. Are you certain that you can do this, Judah? What do you mean? You're still acting like that. Mom, of course I can, just... If it was it'd be different. She sat silently for a moment, eyes averted. There's nothing that I can do about it anyways. This is all that I've got now. You know that. We sat in dead silence for another beat. All your paperwork sorted out? Yes, had my will submitted just last night. Know what you'll be doing? I turned away, a knot twisting itself around in my stomach. Do we need to talk about this right now? Judah, I only want to make sure that you're in the right headspace. You do know what you'll be doing out there? It's just convoy work. 8 or 10 hours in the field. Well, so long as you're well defended, there shouldn't be too much to worry about. Have you met your squadron yet? Well, not yet. They're called Garland Squadron, I believe. Ardor has something for flowers, apparently. Well, make sure that you get to know them at least. I'll try. It's just, it doesn't come easy, alright? And I don't know, I've been fine anyways. Have you? Are you really fine, Judah? Yes. Are you sure? Yes, I'm fine. Before Mom could say another word, a voice echoed from outside. The tram to Hangar O3 has just arrived and will be leaving in 5 minutes. All military personnel are required to show their identifications at the front reception. Thank you. Shit. Our time was up. Oh, well, please. Please be safe out there. And be sure to call me the moment that you get back. Her voice cracked. You could hear the lump balled up in her throat. She gave me one last look. Her mouth smiled as if to comfort me, but her eyes betrayed deep sadness. I love you, Judah, more than anything in this world. She stared at me so intensely, as if begging me not to go. What I would give just to spend all my time here, talking to her about mundane shit forever. I bade my farewell. Those might be the last words that she hears from me. Love you too. Tonight, 1900 hours, same chat room. I'll be sure to call you there, if I get back. The monorail will depart momentarily. Current destination, Hangar 3. I wedged myself into the back of a car by the window, and after a few more passengers boarded, the door shut. The monorail will now be departing. The tram lurched, wheels turned on the railings, and the car began to accelerate. I rested my head on the frame of the window and stared at the tunnel walls. As the tram continued, a light from a far end of the tunnel grew in intensity. Ardor's air burned its way into my nostrils as the tram exited. It was offensive, like a mix of gasoline and burning rubber, stinging the eyes and nose with a relentless irritation that you never grew completely used to. I perched downwards and spotted a wispy cloud hovering above the industrial district. Another strike? The tear gas cloud seemed much larger than previous week. Or was it another accident at the chemical engineering plant? Hard to tell. Though I could have sworn that there were flashes of light accompanied by the faint popping of semi-automatic. It was easy enough to tune out, so I leaned my head against the glass and shut my eyes. I rested my tail on the floor and assumed a comfortable position, or about as comfortable as you could get with this kind of seating. God, I wanted to curl up in my shitty cot and sleep the week away. Maybe a minute of shut-eye or so. Excuse me? Are you... Before my eyes could even open halfway, a shooting pain jolted up my tail. Motherfucker! I yelped and nearly jumped out of my seat. Pangs of agony pulsed from its tip, and I cradled it closely. I swear, if that cunt broke a bone. Standing up, I prepared a verbal beatdown on the twat. You blind? Watch your damn paws, jackass! Only now did I notice how many people were staring at us. My pain turned to mortification, and I withdrew back into my seat. Whoa, hey, sorry about that. He was a canine, some yellow dog. A golden retriever? No, his ears were too pointed. The dog shuffled a bit, as if trying to find the words to say. What do you want? The dog's ears flicked. Sorry, mate. I just wanted to ask something. Your jumpsuit says Garland on the back, yeah? Garland? Yes. Oh, well, ain't that convenient? The dog turned around to show the back of his jumpsuit. Of course, the word Garland was plastered right across it. Sea otter, yeah? Didn't think that we'd be getting one of you, especially up here in Ardor. Here y'all all the fluffiest guys around. You're a sea otter, yeah? Well, I'll take that as a yes. I sat back down, clutching the throbbing pain at the end of my tail. To my horror, the dog wedged himself beside me, tail haphazardly thrown onto my lap. Well, nice to meet you. Sorry about the whole thing before. The name's Gilligan Donato. I brushed his tail off to the side. Alright. And you are? He kept staring at me expectantly. The seconds flew before I finally conceded. Judah. Well, looks like you and me are gonna be partners, Judah. The mono should be arriving soon, so maybe I could show you around, meet the rest of the guys. This guy stepped on my tail and now wants to serve as my tour guide. Listen, I'm not in the mood for something like this now, so I can find my own way around, alright? Gil let out a faint whimper. Are you sure? I mean, it's a pretty big complex. Yes, I'm certain. Leave me alone. Gil whimpered and shrunk back. Sorry. Well, I guess I'll see you there. He got up and shuffled away, looking quite upset. Well, it wasn't my problem. I got up way too early for this. I sighed and rested my head back against the glass. At least I could get some rest before. The monorail will arrive momentarily. Please prepare to depart immediately. After getting off the train, I hitched a ride on one of the hangar's transit cars. Miles upon miles racing through the hangar's locked stretch of track, built into the earth. We stopped at Quadrant 3 at the 15th docking bay. It took me little more than 9 minutes to arrive. It was an open space etched into the side of the runway where the Pharaohs were docked. I wandered around a bit, unsure of where to linger. Technicians were busy tending to the Pharaohs held dormant in their shackles. In the center of the quadrant stood an AT, an armored transport. An ironclad hunk that looked more like a cube of steel than an actual vehicle. It looked like it weighed more than the Pharaohs did. Its backside was wide open, being loaded with a mountain of supplies. Water, food, batteries, even clothing. It was enough to last me for a lifetime. Between the Pharaohs, the AT, and all the scurrying personnel, it was hard to find a place to linger for more than a few minutes. I turned to spot a small table resting at the far corner of the hangar, where it appeared that 3 others were waiting. No other option, I guess. I made my way towards them. One of them was the dog from earlier, whose ears perked as I entered. We exchanged an awkward glance before I turned to face the other 2. The closest to me was a portly sea lion, leaning back in his seat casually. He cast a sideward glance at me and flashed a warm smile. And at the end, tucked in the back, was a slight rat donning a pair of thick glasses. He was too busy nibbling at his claws to even look up as I entered. 3 and I make 4. It seemed like we were missing the captain. Before I could take a few steps further, the sea lion stood from his seat and approached. Morning. I take it that you're our last member? He extended an arm forward. Hugo Wagner's the name. Pleasure to meet you. I simply stared at his outstretched flipper. Not too keen on contact, eh? I can respect that. Can I get a name at least? Judah. Well, make yourself at home, Judah. Gil, be a charming gentleman that you always are and introduce yourself. That won't be necessary. Let's just say that we already got our introductions out of the way. Gil gave a sheepish grin and looked away while Hugo eyed him suspiciously. What on earth did you get into? Nothing serious, Jeez. Very well. Anyways, Judah. Hugo pushed a chair towards me and motioned for me to sit. I'm good. He shrugged. Suit yourself, chum. The sea lion returned to his seat and lazily leaned back, casting a half-glance in my direction. Sea otter, eh? Long way from the sea. Could say the same to you. Born and raised in Ovation, never once touched the ocean. Not much of a sea lion now, am I? How about you? Crater Hope. Ah. Hugo fell silent at that. Where's the cap? We should be leaving for Bug Country soon, yeah? Relax, it's a few minutes before our briefing's scheduled. Punctuality and all, not a moment before or after. God help you if you're late, though. Can't wait to get this over with. You scared? I'd be stupid not to, man. Need a drink to help with the nerves? Not sure that I need caffeine in me at this time. Hugo took a swig and coughed. Would kill for a bit of liquid courage right about now. You still drink? Not anymore, my friend. Would that I could. Though who knows, maybe I could sneak a quick sip between deployments every now and then. You're asking to get your ass booted? Not at this point. Though, I'd prefer to die with something numbing my system. Rather not be too sobered up in case something gets me. The sea lion smirked as he made a crunching noise. Well, if you're off your rocker, something is definitely gonna kill you. Hey, at least it'll be relatively painless. Dying a drunken bastard? That how you wanna go? I mean, how does anyone wanna go? With some flair, man. Make it a spectacle at least. Or at least something instantaneous so that I can get it over with. How about you? I prefer it when I'm older. Much older. In one of those inner city residential units over an ovation. You know, those damn fine luxury houses? Yes. There in my gold-flaked blanket, on a bed the size of an AT, passing into the next life after one final sip of some premium top-shelf liquor. Some vodka, preferably. Gil scoffed. I meant, how do you prefer dying out there, smartass? Hey, you said how I'd prefer it. Suppose it's just all a fantasy anyhow. And you, Judah? How would you prefer to shuffle off this mortal coil? What does it matter? I mean, what the hell kind of question is that? Hey, we're just trying to make conversation. About how I'm gonna kick the fucking bucket? How we're all gonna kick the bucket? Maybe I'd rather not think about being torn apart by one of those fucking things right before being shipped out to that godforsaken wasteland, you twat. You done with your little hissy fit, chum? Guys. For goodness sake, I'm just trying to break the ice. Hey, why don't we just... Listen to me, you mother... Stop. The rat had finally spoken up, and he was out of his seat. Stop discussing this. In a flash, he was back into his seat, staring intensely at the table's surface. Hard to make out what's behind those thick lenses. Was he upset, or... Gil took to his side immediately and knelt beside the rat. Hey. The rat's ears perked up but didn't face Gil. You alright, man? The rat took a moment to respond and turned to face Gil. No, you're being overwhelming. His voice came out flat and cold. Even the way he looked at the dingo seemed unnatural, like he was forcing himself to. What do you mean? The rat sighed in frustration and turned away, paws reached towards his prominent incisors which chipped away at his nails. Just forget about it. What the fuck's wrong with him? Gil lowered his voice to a soothing murmur. Well, sorry if the whole talk was making you upset, man. Need some water? I can get you a cup. The rat shook his head. You sure, man? It helps me when I get, angsty. Gil, I am under a lot of pressure right now. Can you please respect this? He said in a surprisingly sharp manner. His voice lowered near the end there. The words were on his tongue, but he was too scared to let them free. Gotcha. Hey, I don't believe I caught your name, though. In fact, I don't think that I've ever seen you around before. The rat was quiet for a moment before speaking up. My name is Felix. You wouldn't have seen me before. Well, it's nice to meet you, Felix. I need some time to myself. So can you please, Alright then, mate. Just wanted to check in with ya. Felix mumbled something to himself, which I suppose was some form of an or uh-huh. Silence fell again. Hugo and Gil seemed to pick back up on their conversation while Felix and I simply dwelled on the sidelines. Honestly, just lingering around was making me feel awkward. A group of 4 strangers with nothing to talk about, nothing to relate to, just meaningless quips or introductions. Conversations that'll go forgotten or cut short when the time comes. Nothing Gil or Hugo were saying interested me, so I turned to see what our squadron's pharaohs looked like. Never did get a great look at them, now that I thought about it. 5 of them, each a separate color. To start, the bulky armor-plated type seemed to be a pinniped and a big cat. Fucking behemoth war machines they were. 25, no, 30 meters I believe is the standard. Couldn't even remember the weight, but I've heard these things flatten AT units on accident all the time. Well, that and the unlucky bastard every now and then. Hell of a mess to clean up to. I shook away the macabre thought to investigate the tiny one off in the corner. A diminutive 15-meter tall blue rat, dexterous and nimble, with a sharp eyepiece connected to its eye socket. Would have loved to pilot a sniper, furthest out from the rest of the carnage, though from what little I know of Felix, that might suit Four Eyes better. Finally, I arrived at the Myrmidons? A yellow canine and a red otter. Speed and strength, dexterity all packed into a titanic war machine. With teeth like that, they could chew up raw steel and hawk out a tank. Just in time, before staring got boring, there was a set of loud footsteps. Hugo and Gil hushed their little talk and turned to face the newcomer. A massive tiger marched in, barrels for arms that looked so though he could crush my skull to powder. They glanced sharply at the table where Hugo's thermos lay, and a grimace spread across his face. "Wagner, would you take the damn thing off the table? This is an area for debriefing, not your barracks." Immediately, Hugo set to work wiping the table as the tiger took position in front of the table. "Good. It seems we're all early. Have a seat, soldiers. This should only take a few minutes." I took to the table, finding a seat at the far end as the tiger read over a few documents he held in his paw. He set the folders on the center of the table, his large frame casting a shadow that engulfed the whole room. "I am Shay Huang, and I have been assigned as the captain of Garland's squadron. It is a pleasure." His voice was trench deep with bass, yet it was softened by the air of refinement. He scanned us with his eyes, brilliant green in color like an emerald. "I suppose introductions are in order." "Oh, well, we already took care. Donato!" Gil whimpered at the moment, as the hulking tiger turned to face him with a displeased look. Yes, sir?" "Please refrain from interrupting me." He stared Gil down, and the dog looked like he was about to shit himself. Sorry, sir." Shay swatted the look of irritation away before changing his tone. "Anyways, are you adjusting well thus far?" "Oh, fine enough, I guess. Then again, it's been hectic. Only a month in a squadron and I had to move again. Having Hugh definitely made it an easier transition, though." "Speaking of..." Shay turned his attention to Hugo. "Wagner, it is good to see you. Are you well?" Fine. I was pretty comfortable with my old mates, but then this little opening popped up. Unfortunately, this dingo just doesn't want to leave me alone. Sticks to me like a damn splinter," he said, eyeing Gil. "A dingo, huh? Guess that makes sense, but I couldn't say that I've ever seen one myself. But orders are orders, I guess. Nearing your first year, if I am not mistaken?" Close enough." "Well, this is a grand milestone. You should be proud." Hugo gave a nonchalant shrug. "I'm just celebrating the fact that I'm not dead yet." That remark got a stifled smirk from Shay. "Nonsense. You will see a long and successful career, that much I am certain. Have you two introduced yourselves to Bishop in Belfast yet?" "We've spoken a bit." "Can't say that I'm particularly familiar." "Well, that will not do. Bishop, Belfast." "Oh God. Would you care to fill Wagner and Donato in? Belfast, we will start with you." The rat stared blankly for a moment before adjusting his glasses. "As I said before, I am Felix Belfast. I arrived here a week ago from the Eastern Ardor Division, where I was my squadron's sniper. A fine marksman, from what I hear." Felix turned away sheepishly, his ears flickering. I am sufficient. And Judah, yes, we should introduce him, he said, directing everyone's attention towards me. Huh? I'm not sure that's necessary. Bishop, this is standard. Well, Everyone was staring intently at me. Felix hid back in his seat after throwing me under the bus. I'm Judah Bishop. I'm new and this is gonna be my first job. That's it, I said before receding. Shay sighed and groomed a tuft of his fur on his cheek before continuing. I suppose that will do for now. In any case, firstly, I wish to extend a welcome to all of you into the Crater Andor Feral Force. I have led at least 3 squadrons before yours and have been a member of the Force for over 2 decades now. I will do my utmost to strive for success in the field and ensure your survival. Now for your mission at hand. We will be escorting a supply convoy to Outpost 16 over in the north. They have been in critical need for fuel and food for over a month at this point. The success of this mission is paramount to their survival. The outing will be around 8 to 10 hours, depending on if we encounter any trouble along the way. Hugo raised a hand. Wagner? Outpost 16's been running dry for the past month? Why is that? Why haven't there been resupplied sooner? Shay sighed and adjusted his jumpsuit before speaking. I suppose that it is best that you are aware that this is not the first attempt to resupply Outpost 16. The previously scheduled mission to Outpost 16 was a total failure. The squadron was annihilated. Reports from Taiga Squadron indicated that it was a mega-colony encounter. Do we have any idea what the colony looks like? No. We are not even certain if it still occupies the same area. No attempt has been made to investigate the site of the attack either. All we can be certain of is that it was large enough to destroy the squadron thoroughly. So, we're all replacements then? I beg your pardon, Bishop? The previous batch bit the dust, so they cobbled us together to replace them? Shay drew in a sharp breath with a faint growl reverberating throughout his voice. Watch your tone, Bishop. The moment his eyes met mine, I cast my glance aside immediately. They were smoldering as sharp as a spear. Even now I could feel them burning holes into me. Sir? Shay shook off his death stare and thankfully turned his attention to Felix. Yes, Belfast? Will we be making any alterations on the route to avoid the colony? We will be taking a slightly longer route, 5 miles out from their last location. With luck, the mega colony may have broken up or moved on elsewhere. However, I advise the utmost caution regardless, and I will be going into today's mission with the expectation on combat. We're doing this, huh? Going right into the fucker's territory after it slaughtered the last poor bastards a couple of weeks ago. I guess it kills pretty cleanly. At least it makes it quick. Hopefully. Any further questions? About the arsenal. What do we have? 20 or so EMP grenades, 500 rounds of rifle bullets, and a selection of lances, swords, and shields. Of the rifle munitions, we have piercing, disabling, and explosive rounds. He turned to Felix. We will be assigning that transport to your Pharaoh, Belfast. The rat simply nodded along. Again, he had his tail twiddling around in his paws. What was his expression? I could barely see behind those lenses. Was he scared? Or what? Bishop, Donato. Yes? As the squadron's myrmidons, you will be at the flank of the formation. Wagner and I will take the vanguard while Felix will provide suppression fire from the rear. The armored vehicle will be at the center of this formation, and each Pharaoh will be assigned a single armored support vehicle to cover the arms. With luck, we should be able to keep the transport safe up to its arrival at Outpost 16. However, if combat breaks out, the safety of the transport is your utmost priority. Is that understood? Not just for the lives of the men and the women in the vessel, but for the lives of those in the Outpost 16. Felix raised a quivering paw. Belfast? Um, if we are unable to resupply Outpost 16? He swallowed and then fell silent, casting his gaze downwards. Shay finished that thought almost immediately, however. Yes, they will likely perish. Without the battery cells needed to power their Union generators, the outpost will be unable to repel I.C.O. and will likely be compromised shortly thereafter. It is a terrible fate, a slow one, a painful one. I understand the pressure, truly. I wish that there had been a less dire situation, but we have orders that we must fulfill. Even a nanosecond of hesitation will result in an agonizing demise at their hands. However, if you follow my lead and aid your comrades to the best of your ability, there will be nothing to fear, that I can assure you. We have around half an hour to prepare. Be in your ferals by exactly that time. I will not tolerate tardiness. The tiger puffed his chest out and placed a fist right over his heart. Respite and death. The four of us stood, saluted, and repeated those words back. Dismissed. God, I hated looking at these things so up close. It stared down at me with those dead, empty eyes. Its lower jaw hung loosely from its hinges, like the carcass of some long-dead colossus. I knocked my knuckles on its side, only to be greeted by a dead, thudding noise. Must be half a foot of armored plating, at the very least. The plating was as smooth as polished rock, and the faintest bit of warmth could be felt on the tips of my fingers. Must have been fresh from the foundry. Don't think that I've seen one in such good shape before. LUTRIN-CARNATION is what it's called. Lovely name for a savage hunk of scrap. Half an hour, Shay said. I should be getting inside and preparing it for deployment. I'd rather not get mauled to death by Captain Hardass. Still, I had some time to kill at least, so I let the hangar's ambience sink in for a moment. Just stalling for a moment before entering. The sound of clashing metal and vibrating machines echoed down miles of iron-plated tunnel. Like Ardor, it had the distinct scent of smog that made me feel like I was shaving minutes off my life with every inhale. Was I shaking? Were my legs shaking? A worm of uneasiness was slithering around my guts. It made me queasy. Was I going to vomit? God, fuck. No, don't think about it. It was getting difficult to even swallow. I can't do this. Shit, this guy again. I turned to the source of the voice that waltzed right up to me. Shouldn't you be getting ready? Well, it's just the next Pharaoh over, and I wanted to wish you luck and all. Okay. You seem agitated? Wonder why. Oh, come on. I'm sure that we'll be okay. I have faith in the captain, and Wagner's a damn reliable paladin, if I should say so myself. He saved my fur plenty of times before. Whatever you say. How could he be so optimistic about this? He's either stupid or delusional, or probably both. Why are you still bothering me? Don't you have something better to do? Hey, don't be like that. I just, well, I just wanted to apologize for what happened in the tram this morning. Must have been a shitty first impression, yeah? Can't argue with that. And, well, we're both Myrmidons, so we're the close quarter combatants of our squadron. We'll be expected to fight together. Can't exactly coordinate ourselves properly if we don't get along, yeah? So, I just want to apologize for stepping on your tail. And good luck out there, man. I know that we can do this. He flashed me a salute. Um, well, now I got some shit to do with my feral, but don't hesitate if you need anything from me out there, alright? Uh, sure. Awesome. See you out there. He bolted off, leaving me alone once again with the feral. I simply stared at as the dingo ran into the distance, depressed at the thought that that might be the last time that I'd spoken with someone face to face again. Fuck. Enough stalling. I turned to the elevator pitched beside LUTRIN-CARNATION and approached. The entrance shut and it all went dark. Claustrophobic little spaces in it. At least, it's easy to find my bearings. A bit too easy maybe, as I hit my head on the ceiling. Air's stuffier than the bra of an Umbran street prostitute. Couldn't ask for a more comfortable iron coffin myself. I squirmed into place, buckled up and prepared to bring this bastard to life. Activate screen display. Run boot up diagnostics. Alright, everything appears to be in order. I grabbed the headset plugged into the wall and adjusted it to my skull. I got it about as comfortable as these things got anyway. What 10-year-old designed these things? You had so many species to cater to, yet somehow you found the way that's uncomfortable for all of them. Great job. Quit your bitching, Judah. Just start the damn thing. Connect me to Garland's squadron. Bishop, is that you? Affirmative. Is everything up to code in there? No problems on my end, sir. Operator Royce to Captain Young. Do you read? I read you, Operator. All pilots are accounted for. No problems detected. Status on the AT vessel? The AT and subsidiary units 1 through 10 are all in position and accounted for. Understood. All Pharaohs are now granted permission to activate. Well, here we go. I took a deep breath and readied myself. LUTRIN-CARNATION Activate. Sensations deluged over me in a torrent. I felt as though my mind were being separated from my body. The weight of its bestial arms, the texture of the concrete beneath its paws, and the surge power flowing in its wiry veins. This colossus of steel was mine to control. Field Edelweiss is active and ready to deploy. Status report. Canid Goldenrod, standing by. Otari Snapdragon, standing by. Jude Incarnation, standing by. Merit Hollyhock, standing by. Captain to Operator, do you copy? Affirmative, Captain. I read you. Requesting restraints be unlocked. Request granted. Station 15 restraints have now been unlocked. All restraints free. Pharaohs are now mobile. Understood. Retracting walkway. The graded walkway I used to get to the LUTRIN-CARNATION's entrance swiped upwards, giving me a clear path into the center of the Pharaoh Bay. The walkways have been retracted. We are now able to exit the docking bay. Meridon units, assume position. The paladins took to the front. I took the middle with the dingo. The rat came from behind. My Pharaoh took a step forward, stirring up a cloud of dust as its paws clashed with the floor. Armored support vehicles 1 through 5 enter positions behind your designated Pharaoh. The ASVs, which look like miniature versions of the AT, raced into position upon Shay's instruction. Once all settled, Shay took to the lead, and we followed right after. We plodded across what must have been half a mile of runway until we arrived at the monstrous gate that dwarfed even our Pharaohs. This is Captain to Command. We have arrived at the main exit, requesting permission to enter. A few moments passed, and a great rumble reverberated around us as that steel behemoth creaked open. It was so powerful, I could feel my bones rattle even from within the Pharaoh. Once it was fully opened, the squadron entered. The new area was dark and around the sides of the squadron's bay. All units have entered the airlock. Upon uttering those words, Royce gave an affirmative, and the gate behind us shut. Silence, nothing but the whirling of the Pharaohs and sides to keep me at company. Airlock secured, now opening Etna Gate. This was it. Outside our door, outside the stifling interior of the craters, out into the hell itself, the world that belonged to them, the I.C.O. Thank you for playing the first chapter of I.C.O. Machina Lutris. I'm Cetus, the writer and creator of I.C.O, and I hope that you enjoyed what you played so far. It's really been a long time coming. Follow me on Twitter and itch.io for more updates. It would be invaluable help if you could spread and retweet my posts to help the project reach a larger audience. Huge thanks to my art director and background artist, Jasper Huxley. Follow him here. To my Kuya, who is also my supporting artist and graphic designer, Cody Opoulos. Follow him here. And also to Dusty, who designed the UI, Hugh for the amazing original score, and Watson and Grunsteel for some invaluable programming help. Special thanks to Garda for proofreading and editing. Credit also to Carly and Casey at Whitebad Audio for some placeholder tracks. So sorry about all the waiting, but I hope what I showed gives you guys hope for the future of I.C.O. If you can, please donate to my coffee so that I can fund I.C.O. and make it even better in the future. I'm also going to be getting a new Patreon up and running as soon, so please look forward to that. I really need the funds to help support the project. I don't think that I can do monthly releases, but each month's Patreon donations will all go to paying my team and funding the project. Between the university and other responsibilities, making I.C.O. has been an incredibly difficult undertaking, and one that I sometimes feel that I might never see finished. But with your support, I instantly feel that motivation to see things through, and I want to be able to tell this story to its conclusion. Chapter 2 is about ready to enter its art phase. We got a lot of coming, so that it might take a while, but I hope that we can get it done in a timely manner. So once again, thanks a million for reading. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you soon. So that was the first chapter of I.C.O. Machina Lutris. So obviously I named the first person that I was able to name that name because they were going to die, and it wouldn't matter. The main character is the otter, who you don't get to name. I wonder what Lutris means. Let me see if I can Google it real quick. Lutris. Oh, it's otter. Okay. So, so it's literally otter machine. What I do wonder is, what does the I.C.O. stand for? Is it like, I don't know what it stands for. I'm not gonna guess. I'll wait to find out eventually. I know that a previous version of this game existed, but it was scrapped, and then this version is what exists now. I am curious why that happened, but I guess I will never know. Story-wise, I am getting a lot of aliens attacked or something attacked. Creatures that have probably weren't here before attacked and wiped out most of these people. They managed to hide in what I'm assuming is these domes, which are for the most part self-sufficient, but not always, because apparently there's certain other little outposts which are not self-sufficient. And most of these places are attacked on the regular, which is why you need your little, robots, your Gundams, your ferals to fight back. I'm pretty sure that we're not going to see the person that I named ever again. But I'm wondering if we're going to see what remains of them, because like they said, nobody actually went out there and, checked. So I'm assuming that we're gonna see whatever remained. I'm wondering if Outpost 16 is still around, if they're like currently in contact saying like, okay, you know, the first attempt failed. We're gonna try again this time. Hopefully it doesn't fail. So yeah. What else? I'm curious why they chose this aspect ratio, because the black bars on the side is not me. This is the game. I think that the previous version also was like this, so it's curious. It's a curious little thing that reminds me of I.C.O, because I.C.O also had this type of aspect ratio. It wasn't like, 16:9 or whatever. It wasn't widescreen. I'm curious what's up with the otter. What's his history? Especially because like the mom was reprimanding him, like dude, snap out of it, like stop acting like you're acting right now, like you're doing this again, come on, like snap back. So I'm wondering if he has like some lingering trauma that we're gonna discover later. What else? I'm wondering why the dingo is so like, oh, I need to be friends with these people. Dingoes are not like that in person. I mean, they run around in packs, but they're not friendly. Obviously, I wasn't going to be able to do an Australian accent, and I wasn't about to ask Grizz to, like, hey, you want to do a voice for me? Because he has his own things going on. He's working on his own little game projects and still working on Password. So, yeah, even though it's finished. Anyways, but yeah, so... I don't know. I guess we'll find out what's going on with these people eventually as the story progresses. I can't really say anything about the story itself yet. Just, you know, it's giant robots. That's always exciting. The reason why I compared it to Pacific Rim, again, because, you know, giant robots fighting presumably aliens. And you're going to say, oh, well, what about Evangelion? Well, it doesn't exactly have a religious undertone to it, so not Evangelion. But Pacific Rim, because apparently it connects to your mind in a way, which is what the God, I forgot, the Jaegers were supposed to do, where they connect to you and are able to sort of mimic what you're doing. So yeah, even though the Jaegers require 2 people to pilot, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, yeah. I'm wondering if the current feral that the protagonist has is gonna break down, and then eventually they're gonna get another one. Because again, I'm wondering why. Well, no, I pretty much know now why it's called Machina Lutris. It's literally otter machine. But like, are they gonna get a slightly more otter styled Jaeger feral? I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, what are your thoughts? You know, are you excited for a big robot against presumably aliens or big creatures, monsters, whatever, kaijus? Or is this like, oh, I've seen it, or I saw the... Actually, did you, like, did any of you, you know, already see the original version of I.C.O? I would be interested to know what, you know, what's the difference between this one and the old version. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so you know, write down in the comments, and thank you all for watching / listening. But first, thank you to all the channel members. I'm gonna remember to do that more earlier now. These are all the current channel members. Thank you all to the people who decided to subscribe to the channel. On the left, we have the Yin supporters, and on the right, we have the Yin friends who get early access to videos like this one. They are able to see it, you know, either days or weeks in advance, sometimes even months, depends. But yeah, woo. They also get other little perks, but you can see that by like scrolling down, and then you'll see like a little join button if you're on desktop. If you're on mobile, I don't know where you actually see that. So if you don't see it, then don't worry about it. It might either be because it's not available in your country or just because you're on mobile. I actually don't know where you would see it on mobile. Anyways, but so if you would like to play I.C.O Machina Lutris, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which sure to have a direct link to the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it, or stay up to date with it. And if you would like to support the project, as you can see, they do have a Ko-fi where you can support them. And if they by now have the Patreon, then I will also be linking that down in the description. Also, I have a Ko-fi in case you want to, donate to me. So yeah, I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.